Alright, so this is probably going to be the most controversial part of the ending. I can see people being unhappy with this ending and explanation, but personally, I like it. Let me explain. Let's start with Jace and future Victor. So in Jace's little time adventure, he actually finds a future version of Victor who had reached his final goal, and then realized how meaningless perfection really is. In an attempt to prevent this outcome, he goes into different timelines and gives different little Jaces different runes in an attempt to steer Jace into developing Hextech in different ways, and to find a different version of events and Hextech where Victor doesn't end up evolving the entire world. Which totally called it, by the way. The rune that Victor gave our Jace was the acceleration rune. Which makes sense, considering that the main thing the Hextech was used for was the Hex Gates, which primarily accelerate the speed of objects from one place to another, and we can also see that the Hextech weapons also follow the same principle, with most of them just being used to fire a high-speed beam or projectile, and Vi's rocket gloves also accelerating the speed of her punches. But I'll admit that this is a bit more of a stretch. Back to Arcane though. Some people might think, so why didn't future Victor just tell Jace not to invent Hextech? So here's my answer. I think Jace always invents Hextech. Yeah, in the show, Jace is obsessed with magic because of Victor saving him, but I really do think that it could honestly have been anything. If not Victor teleporting Jace and his mom, it could have been reading about the Rune Wars, or perhaps Mel. The point is that Jace always ends up making Hextech, and as we see from Season 1, he really doesn't like taking no for an answer. Also, no, Victor was not just gonna let him jump, he still loves Jace. So instead of trying to stop Jace from inventing Hextech, he instead tried controlling the trajectory. He gave Jace specific runes that he would use as a base for his Hextech, and hoped that one of these different outcomes would lead to a timeline where Victor doesn't win. And thankfully, with the acceleration rune, Victor finally succeeded. But not because of Jace. No, as we see in the finale, Jace always ends up in the same place, regardless of the rune he's working with. No, it's because of Ekko. Ekko is the new variable that changes everything. Because of Jace's obsession with the acceleration rune, Ekko is able to create the seed drive with the help of Jace's notes. And it's this unpredictable power that lets Ekko save the day. As for Jace and Victor themselves, I absolutely love their conversation inside of Victor's world. In the pursuit of greatness, they fail to do good, with Victor becoming obsessed with creating perfection and Jace obsessing over stopping Victor. But now together again, they can finally appreciate each other, not just for their strengths, but also for their flaws, which made them into the people they are. Together, they use the acceleration rune to revert the brain damage Victor caused and then get absorbed into the rune? I'll be entirely honest, I'm still figuring this one out. I'm not sure what happened to them, but honestly, I kinda like the mystery. Are they dead? Did they get transported somewhere else, like with the Hex Gates? Who knows? Not me. At least, not yet. This is something I'll definitely be thinking about for days to come. But speaking of things that will live rent-free